Hey guys, this is Chris from Vanderzon Snow Removal out in St. Bruno, Quebec. Today I'm going to show you guys how to adjust the swivel plate on all Plowmaxx, Agrimaxx and Reversemaxx wing plows. So right here I'm actually working on a Plowmaxx right now, giving it some love, and it's the perfect opportunity to show you how to properly adjust the swivel plate. So what happens is when the plow is new, it's powder coated paint, and the paint eventually wears off in back of the swivel plate, as well as on the swivel plate itself and the brackets right here, which causes a bit of slop after about 100 hours of use, the first 100 hours, and then after that, well, it kind of wears off evenly. So it's good to go over it, I would say, every 50 hours. This is the order in which you want to adjust every bit of this swivel plate. You have an axle bolt right here. This axle bolt right here is the main pivot point, and then you have a support stud right here on the top, which is adjustable as well. It's just a threaded piece of it's a bolt welded in the back here. And then you have these tension bolts here, which have a little wear pad and put pressure on the swivel plate. These are the tools you need. One and 1/8. I got a 1 1/8, 1 1/16, 1 3/4 inch wrench. And the one thing I did leave out is some grease to go over your grease zerts after that. I'm going to go ahead and talk about this one, which I've added as well. So, first things first is your axle bolt. Normally you have the rest of the plow pinned on right here, but the axle bolt is accessible if you angle the plow and you reach in with your 1 3/4 inch wrench right here in the center. And this is the one you're going to want to start with. So you're going to want to tighten this one. You want to be sure that your tension bolt, your top bolt here, is either backed off or not yet adjusted. So it's kind of sloppy. You'll see there'll be some loose in the washers, and then these guys here, you just back them off. And you're going to want to tension this bolt here. You're going to want to turn it until it's basically a half turn under snug. If it's too snug, well, then it's going to bind and your swivel plate's not going to turn freely. So I've went ahead and already adjusted that up until my plate here has been, and now it's a little too tight. I'm going to have to go over that again. No, there you go. So now it's swiveling. Now everything's adjusted, so it's obviously pretty tight. So I did that one. This one here, you want to adjust it until you have just a wee little bit of loose on this washer at the top. That's done with the 1 1/16 wrench right here. So the one thing to remember is none of the bolts are tight. None of them are tight, snugged in. You want them to you want to take all the play out of them without having them tight. And then last but not least are these guys here. That's going to be your 1 1/8 wrench. And I've actually added these locking nuts here, which is very easy. You just back off your bolt and then thread on a nut. And that makes sure that this bolt doesn't back out and it stays at your adjustment. So I'll go ahead and slack this just to show you guys how much tension is on these. Now if your plow is a year or two old, something like that, you can back these all out and then spray some lubricant in here just to make sure the bolt stays free. as well as the little bushing, the little rubber bushing that touches the backing plate. It moves freely as well. So this is the final tension on these bolts. So you see I'm not putting much tension, but that's good. That's good enough. That's going to wear in just fine. And you'll have enough support on that backing plate to not have it all sloppy. Then I go ahead, I tighten this little bolt I added, this little nut. And one thing that I have added, which I think the factory should have probably added, are these little zert fittings here. I took this plate off, very simple, 1 1/8 socket, and you remove all these, take it off. I drilled through, and I added a zert fitting just so grease gets in back of the swivel plate, which is one of the main, this up here, I found it to be one of the main pressure points, because what happens is you lift the plow, and by nature the weight, if there's a little bit of slop, the weight is always on that top portion of this backing plate here, and with a bit of grease you prevent wear, and you save yourself from adjusting all these multiple times a year. So that's how to properly adjust the swivel plate on an Agrimaxx, Reversemaxx, and Plowmaxx plow. And that's about it. If you have any questions, you can ask me or any of the other Metal Pless reps. Thank you.